Hello, and welcome to Modern Skills in English. Today, we're going to talk about something that many students are feeling anxious about, the future of your first job. We see news every day about how artificial intelligence is changing the world. But one change is happening quietly, and it affects young people most of all. It's the disappearance of the traditional entry-level job.
This is something I think about all the time. I'm studying hard, I'm trying to get good grades, I'm doing everything they told me to do. But I have this fear in the back of my mind. What if I do all this work, graduate, and the job I was preparing for just isn't there anymore? What if the first step on the career ladder is gone?
That's a very real concern, and many students believe the problem is that AI is simply taking jobs. They imagine a world with fewer opportunities, but that's not quite right. The real problem isn't fewer jobs. The problem is fewer training jobs.
What's the difference? A job is a job, isn't it?
Most students think a degree gets them a job, and the job teaches them the skills. For decades, this was true. The first job was a place to learn. You would do simple, repetitive tasks. You would learn how the business works. Your manager would train you. These simple tasks are now the first things being automated by AI.
So companies don't need people to do the basic stuff anymore.
Exactly. They are not hiring people to train them from zero. They now expect you to arrive on the first day already knowing how to contribute. The expectation has changed. The company is no longer the place where you learn the basics. The world now expects you to have some tangible proof that you can do the work before you even get the work.
Tangible?
Something real, something you can show, not just a grade on a paper, but actual evidence of a skill.
Okay, I think I understand. The company used to pay you to learn. Now you have to learn before you get paid. That feels difficult. It feels like they've pulled the ladder up after they climbed it.
It does feel that way, and it leads to the first common mistake students make. They believe the solution is to study more.
Of course, if jobs are more competitive, you need better grades. You need more qualifications, maybe a master's degree. You have to prove you are the best student.
That sounds logical. It's what the education system has taught us. The problem is, a university degree is a fantastic credential. It proves you are good at learning. But companies aren't hiring learners. They are hiring skilled people who can solve problems. Getting another degree just provides more proof that you are good at being a student. It doesn't provide the tangible proof that you can solve a real-world problem.
So all my studying, it's not enough? That's a scary thought. I've spent years focused on getting good grades.
It is not that your studying is worthless. It's incredibly valuable. It gives you the foundational knowledge, but it's only half of the equation. Think of it like learning to cook. You can read 100 cookbooks. You can memorize every recipe. You can pass a written exam on the theory of cooking. But does that mean you can actually cook a good meal?
No, not until you've actually been in a kitchen and tried it. Probably burned a few things.
Exactly. Your academic work is the cookbook. It's essential, but employers now want to see the meal you've already cooked. They don't have time to teach you how to use the kitchen. The new way to think is this. Your education gives you the knowledge, but you must find a way to transform that knowledge into skill on your own.
So how do I do that? How do I get into the kitchen if no one will give me a job in one?
This leads us to the second big idea. Most students wait for someone to give them a structure, an assignment, an internship, a job. In your university courses, the professor provides the structure, right? They give you the project, the deadline, the question to answer. That structure is like a scaffold. It supports you as you build your knowledge.
Yes, everything is organized for us. We just have to do the work.
The problem is, in the real world, there is no scaffold. No one gives you a neat assignment. You are given a problem, like sales are down or customers are complaining. You have to build your own scaffold. You have to define the real problem, decide on the steps, manage your time, and produce a result. This ability to create your own structure is the skill employers are desperate for, and it's a skill you can build right now, without anyone's permission.
Create my own structure? You mean like give myself assignments?
In a way, yes. It starts with a shift in thinking. Stop seeing yourself as just a student who completes tasks. Start seeing yourself as a problem solver who creates projects. You don't need to wait for a company to give you experience. You can create your own.
Okay, but this all feels very abstract. What does creating my own project even look like for a normal student?
It can be very small. Let's say you are a business student studying marketing. The old way is to get an A on your marketing exam. The new way is to do that and also choose a small local business you like, a coffee shop, a bookstore, and create a simple 2-page analysis of their social media. Identify what they do well, find one thing they could improve, and create an example of a post they could use.
And what do I do with that? Send it to them? That seems pushy.
You could. They might ignore it or they might love it, but that's not the main point. The point is, you now have a piece of tangible evidence. In a job interview, when they ask about your marketing skills, you don't just say, "I got an A in my marketing class." You say, "I am passionate about how small businesses connect with customers. In fact, I did a small independent analysis of a local coffee shop strategy. I discovered that their customer engagement was highest on Tuesdays, and I developed a simple content idea to help them increase traffic on weekends. Would you like to see it?"
Wow, that sounds much more impressive. It sounds like a real professional.
It shows you can do more than just study. It shows you have initiative. You didn't wait to be told. You saw a situation, you analyzed it, and you created something. You built your own scaffold. That is 1,000 times more valuable to an employer than another certificate.
That makes sense, but it still feels hard. If this is the new reality, why do even the best students, the ones with great grades and maybe even these small projects, still struggle to find work? If this strategy is so powerful, why isn't it a guarantee?
That is a fair question, because this approach is not just about having a few projects. It's about building a new kind of career foundation. Many students still believe the ultimate goal is to get an internship or a job at a famous company. They see that as the only real validation.
Well, yes. An internship at a big, well-known company looks great on a resume. It's a clear signal to other employers.
It is a signal, but it puts the power back into someone else's hands. You are waiting for them to choose you, and those opportunities are becoming just as competitive as the jobs themselves. The most resilient mindset is to stop trying to perfectly simulate what you think a company wants. Instead, find a real, small problem that you genuinely care about and try to solve it.
What do you mean by a real problem? My coffee shop project wasn't a real problem?
It was an excellent first step. It was an exercise to build a skill. The next step is to apply that skill to something that has a real outcome. For example, a local charity needs help organizing an event. You can use your project management skills from your business class to help them. A friend is starting a small online shop and is confused about their finances. You can use what you learned in your accounting class to help them build a simple spreadsheet.
So the goal is to stop doing pretend work and start doing real work, even if it's small and unpaid.
Precisely, because then your story changes. In an interview, you're not just showing them a project you did for yourself. You're telling them a story about how you created real value for someone else. You helped a charity raise more money. You helped a friend organize their business. You moved from theory to practice, from an academic exercise to a real-world result.
Okay, I think this is all coming together for me. Let me try to summarize. The old model was, my degree is my ticket to a job and the job will train me. That's gone.
Yes.
The new model is, my degree is the foundation, it proves I have the knowledge, but I also need a portfolio of small, real-world projects. These projects prove I can apply my knowledge. They show I have initiative and that I can create my own structure without a boss telling me what to do.
That is a perfect summary. Your credential gets you the interview. Your tangible projects get you the job.
And the best projects aren't just exercises I do alone. They are small things I do for other people, for real businesses or organizations, to show that I can create actual value.
Exactly. You are building your own experience, piece by piece. Instead of waiting for a company to give it to you, you are building your own scaffold for your career.
It's a lot of work, but it also feels better, less helpless. I'm not just waiting for the world to decide if I'm good enough. I can actually build the proof myself. I can simulate the work of a professional long before I become one.
That is the key insight. The power is back in your hands. You don't have to be a passive student waiting for graduation. You can be an active professional in training, starting today with one small project.
So it's not that the game is over. The rules have just changed. I don't have to wait for permission to start my career.
That's it. You can start right now. And to all of you listening, we hope this conversation has given you a new way to think about your own journey.
We are always curious to know what challenges you are facing. Please let us know in the comments what topic you'd like us to explore in our next episode.